Former Congressman Charles DeJoux, he was a Republican back when he was a member of Congress. He served with Tim Walz while Tim Walz was in Congress, and he said he was able to find common ground with the governor when they were both in the House, that they both worked across the aisle. Have you ever found an instance of Governor Walz working across the aisle?
I didn't serve with him when he was in Congress before I got there, and I wasn't in the state legislature. But I will tell you, from what I have heard from those state legislators, they had nothing to do. From Republican state legislatures, he certainly didn't reach across the aisle when he was passing all of this legislation. When they had the House, the Democrats had the House and the Senate and the governor's office, and they were passing this radical legislation right and left, and they were not at all taking into consideration anything the Republicans said or wanted or opposed or supported. There was no reaching across the aisle last legislative session.
New polls indicate that in head-to-head matchups between Harris and Donald Trump, Harris's lead is now expanding, and this comes after she tapped Walz as her running mate. Does this concern you as a Republican?
You know what? They are getting their honeymoon period right now in the bump in the polls. But I trust that the American people, when they find out what they're really about, and we get into September and October of this year, and people are really paying attention to what's going on, that they will understand the radical policies, the things that they want to do to this country. And I think they'll understand that the Biden-Harris administration has not dealt with the economy, and that will continue.
It seems like Republicans and perhaps even Donald Trump have been caught flat-footed after Biden dropped out and Harris is now the nominee. Have you heard anything about a recalibration of sorts in the Trump campaign?
I have not heard about it personally, but I am sure they are doing what they need to do. It is a different opponent because they forced President Biden out, and now they obviously, the campaign changes.
Are you concerned about Donald Trump trailing in the polls and how it will affect House races, including your own?
No, because I think that honeymoon period will soon end when the American people figure out and find out what Harris Walz is really about, and I think we'll be all right.
Congresswoman, what specifically are you looking out for when it comes to the election between now and November?
We're going to be out there doing talking to the American people and talking about the economy and the border, and that's what people are concerned about right now. And I think in particular the economy and inflation, particularly as we go back to school, kids, you're having to buy new shoes and clothes and school supplies, and so that's what we're going to be looking at, talking about the economy so that people understand who can get this economy moving and inflation down.